Broderick picking up McGuan, free with Shaw, Knights with Brown. Richmond go to the right, Collingwood kick to what we think might be the scoring end, Monkhorst and Deer. There's 4 premierships between those 2 big men. Free got the first touch, Knights got the first effective disposal to Tape. Swang the handball out, good atmosphere here today. Daffy goes back to Tape at half-back in his first year with the Tigers. Gale sets himself, Houlihan at the back. Free, the captain. Probing kick, Monkhorst should take it. At the back, great mark in the front by Noche.
Well, I think that suggests that the Tigers have pumped up.
If you get any indication, Matthew Knights came onto the ground, Jared, and he tapped every player on the backside. He's pumped, and Richmond are ready for the Magpies.
Yes, I think most supporters believe that they weren't far away from a victory against last year's premiers. Just tailed off in the last quarter.
Testing kick in the conditions today. Nation usually a beautiful kick, and he's kicked that magnificently. Right there, Monkhorst punches it away. Hassel taps it straight out of bounds. Is it a free kick? It is!
Well, I reckon that's not such a bad thing. We see a lot of this happen in football week in, week out. I saw one plucked out of a game on Saturday in the last dying minutes.
Well, it was.
Surely it must happen more often.
Well, it was deliberate.
Well, it's good luck to the umpire to pick it up and penalise the guy.
Well, he's a great kick, Nace. We saw him a moment ago. Now, he'll need his best here. Check side, no. It's going to be a behind, is it? It's a score. What do you reckon, Jared? Hassel, would have you pinged him or not?
No, most definitely. You got to see it. That's most definitely deliberately out in the full or deliberately out of bounds.
Well, the key now is consistency all day, isn't it?
There's a blue on behind field, so there's plenty of emotion. It looks like it's Rowe and Bond, and they're really having a ding-dong go.
The reserve umpire out there. Gee, there's a bit happening here.
Moral victory for Bond, first to his feet. We'll see how that goes for the rest of the day. Krasiska kicks the ball clear for the Magpies, out towards centre wing. No mark taken by Ryan. Chance for Broderick, gets the ball to Bow, but there's a Richmond free kick, dragged off the football. Out there is Tape, who's been a very good player for the Tigers since crossing. His kick goes up near the 50-metre line, punched away by Houlihan from Brendan Gale. Gather Broderick. Matthew Knights into the game quickly. Little kick, okay. Rogers has marked. Now, he'd be within scoring distance, but it's a very difficult shot for goal from that left forward pocket going down to the main scoreboard end. Another youngster in the Richmond side that's played pretty well. Matthew Rogers, wearing the famous number 4 Guernsey. Lovely kick, just offline. Another score to Richmond, but it's just a behind.
He'd have to be well up in the Recruit of the Year stakes, young Rogers. He's played some very good games. A little bit quiet last week, and Rowe is coming off, who has obviously hurt his arm or his shoulder.
Tiger fans realise why too. He's involved in that fight with Bond, and they've given him a big cheer as he goes off.
More than a moral victory for Bond.
Krasiska to Shaw. Won't Tony Shaw love this sort of a day? Looks for 50. Does he get it? Poor play by Bauer. You lose momentum when you lose 50 metres, and the Tigers have given up some ground here. Shaw very short. Gets to Brown. One captain to another. The X to the current. Goes short to Plain, who hasn't kicked a goal in 3 weeks. And that's what he's best at. Buckley was short. Rocker lopes back into the goal square. Plain with the breeze behind him.
Well, he's not confident he's going to kick the distance.
Well, I've never known anyone to take so long.
Unbelievable.
Probably not surprisingly kicks into the man on the mark. Campbell, well played to get a little one away. Rogers, Watson with him. Sanford, held up, free kick Sanford. In the heart of the centre square.
Big man, Glenn Sanford, coming into the side.
Runs in straight lines.
At the unfortunate expense of Jason McCartney. There's a free kick being picked out at centre-half back for Richmond. And it'll go to the Tigers. Looks like Wayne Campbell, who played, I thought, a pretty good game against James Hird last week, but James Hird kicked 4 goals on him, so you can't afford to make too many mistakes in modern-day football. These forwards are all very talented, and they make you pay. A free kick in the centre of the ground. It'll be taken by Mickey McGuan for the Magpies.
Wouldn't be surprised if there were some Bronx cheers if Mickey lets go with a successful right foot kick.
Well, a couple there, Gerard. It was a good kick by McGuan. It covered the pack. Out there at right half forward. It's gathered by Turner. He'd done something with it before he'd really taken control there, and he had a little bit of time and then gave an ordinary kick.
Just to clarify that McGuan situation, last week he had an injection into his groin, which seemed to affect the muscle control in his right leg, and the 3 kicks that I saw on the TV were absolute shockers. Quite comical.
Turner's kick went out of bounds, not on the full, so a boundary throw in at right half forward. Bond aggressive in his endeavours to get at the football. Deer away to Bauer. Bauer's got a little bit of time to settle, kicks it down the wing. Great mark. This man would have to be classified already as one of the inspirational leaders in AFL football. Little man, big heart, and a big performer for the Tigers, Tony Free. Takes a bit of a risk there, kicking it near the centre. Callaway took a good mark, gets it away to Campbell. Campbell's got some space, gets a left foot to it, and kicks it up towards half forward. Bounces very awkward. Tony Shaw away to Monkhorst. Umpire deemed that as a throw. Well, he was very close to the action, the umpire, and the free kick will go to Naish.
Shaw didn't argue either, which suggests it might have been. Naish from 55 lets loose with a long bomb right to the square. Gale's hands were there with the Houlihan, and it's a behind to Richmond. They've done the scoring so far. 3 points to Tigers. Rowe's situation dipper.
Unfortunately, it's a dislocated right shoulder, Bruce.
Well, he's in trouble. Krasiska very short. Mickey McGuan, second time he's done that. First time last week McGuan hadn't kicked a goal this season. Christian back in the team. He's one of 10 players who played in Collingwood's premiership team who are out there today. Watson at half back. They've had 4 kicks, Collingwood, and they've gone 50 metres exactly. Watson to centre wing. Ryan at the back. Once the leading goal kicker at Richmond 4 years ago when he kicked 28 goals for the season. Now playing for the Maggies, and a throw in. One of those trivia questions you can throw at somebody every now and then. Expected to get to 16, well, it won't make it. It's 13. It's a cold old day in Melbourne. It's a good footy day. Free looking for a free kick. There are strong breezes here. They're swirling all around. Tony Shaw's going to get a free. And Tony Free, unaware of what's going on, can't believe it. Or else he's a very, very good actor. McGuan on the run. Loves this situation. Goes to fall forward with a wobbly one. Good effort there by Maxfield. Handball away under pressure. Francis. And runs it out of play.
Oh, look out.
It's on.
Francis ducked into the fence.
There's an old-fashioned impalement there. Usually see that in country football where the picket fence is only a metre or so from the boundary line.
And the umpire quickly sorts it out by giving a free kick. How often do you see that?
Maxfield to get it. Well, Tony Francis has got bad memories of the boundary line, hasn't he, in league footy?
Good kick by Maxfield. Goes right across the face of goal, but very good penetration to reach Turner. Turner after one bounce goes down the wing. Mark could have nearly been taken by Brendan Gale. Recovery not bad, but lumbering after it. And he's taken down by Kerrison. It's out of bounds. We'll have a throw in.
And there you saw with Brendan Gale slipping the futility of trying to turn around on this ground. It is like an ice rink.
Played a lot of footy, the two clubs. Collingwood have won more than 100 matches. Richmond 69. Here's Gale from centre wing. Centering kick, Edwards lumbering, won't get it. Wright's got it. It was a poor kick by Gale, really. Wright's kick not all that good. Plain attacks at Campbell. They were at one another a moment ago over the boundary line. Sanford to provide a Shepherd. Plain, it sits up, round his body. Good kick. Buckley missed it the first chance. He's normally a magnificent kick, Buckley. Over the top of the handball, okay. Setting up Stephen Ryan. Should kick a goal. Misses everything. It's out on the floor. No, it's a behind. It's a point to the Maggies. They're on the board. Richmond are 3 points and Collingwood are 1.
Well, it's interesting, Gerard. We spoke about the conditions being quite blustery. The players having a little bit of difficulty coming to grips with it early.
Yes, it does sap your confidence, the MCG, with the wind going in all different directions.
Kick in is a very good one. Good distance, but the mark taken by Monkhorst. Damien Monkhorst, big man.
Lucky.
Ordinary kick. Maxfield attacked the football. Knights missed his target. gave it away. There's a chance there for Brett James, getting it back to Monkhorst. The kick in towards full forward, nearly taken by Campbell. He was grabbed by Bradley Plain. Bradley Plain not too happy, but the ball will come back to Wayne Campbell at centre half back for the Tigers. Short kick, effective. He finds Free. Free kicks past the wing, out towards half forward. No mark taken. A free kick again, and it's going Richmond's way to be taken down here by Daffy. Nick Daffy, he's between the wing and right half forward. He hooks the kick in towards centre half forward, and well judged. Good mark taken by Broderick. Very, very good assessment there of that kick by Paul Broderick, carrying the Collingwood player Tony Shaw, and he's marked well within scoring distance.
Pretty good matchup, this one on screen. Both aren't gifted with great pace, but both can get the football. Broderick could probably be leading the Tigers best and fairest at the moment.
Well, a pretty good kick too, Paul Broderick, under normal circumstances, and that's no exception. It's a goal. Paul Broderick, after 10 minutes, gets the first goal of the game. Richmond lead 1-3, Collingwood 1 behind.
And the problem with that one there for Tony Shaw was that he just failed to make contact there with Broderick. Broderick eluded him and he judged it just a little bit better. Shaw trying to get the front position and back, I would think, but to no avail.
Tigers lead 1-3 to a point. Broderick the goal scorer in the match so far. Free kick going to Tony Shaw. Had a couple of free kicks so far today. To half forward. Good spoil by Tate from the back. Ryan and James. Francis in the pocket. Good kick in the circumstances. Centering it. Tiger support from Campbell. Ryan off the ground, out of play. Done all right, Richmond so far. Collingwood hot favourites in the game, going in. Turner in the front, out of play.
And another big job for Duncan Callaway, who seems to get them every week for the Tigers, lining up on Nathan Buckley on the wing. He also lined up on Gary Ablett a couple of weeks ago.
Ryan, McGuan pushes it forward with Tony Free, and again out of play at left half forward. 15-4 on Collingwood. That's almost 4-1 on. And 9-4 the Tigers. Changes of both teams going into the match. Collingwood supporters screaming for holding the ball, and it'll be a ball down. Remembering rather, the Michael Gale and Bullis out for Richmond, and Jason McCartney's come out for Collingwood, making 4 changes to the Maggies, all injuries from last week.
Bounced the ball just inside the 50-metre area for the Magpies. It's forced over for another boundary throw-in. Similar distance from the Collingwood goal to the previous bounce. Greg Deere doing the ruck work. High over the top was Howard. Ball gets near the wing and eventually taken over by Tony Free for a boundary throw-in. Just forced about another 25 or 30 metres away from the Collingwood goal by the Tigers' defence. Greg Deere, who was tremendous last week against the Bombers. Richmond will get clear. Knights, quick hands. Broderick back to Knights. Brilliant football. Matthew Knights, an integral part if Richmond are to have a chance. Murphy at the back, jumped too early. Ball comes further to the back. Edwards over the top. Naish. Go in, Murphy. No. Watson beating for the punch. And Watson clears the ball for the Magpies. Wide to Monkhorst on the 50-metre line. So Collingwood, after the Tigers looked a little threatening, the Maggies will get away with the football. Christian gets it further afield to Hassel. Hassel down the wing. Good mark. Excellent mark taken by Brown, as Knights was just a few seconds late. Nothing in that. And Gavin Brown will take his kick between wing and half forward. Short again. And the mark is taken by Christian, who's run a long way down the ground to take that ball. He goes into the pocket where Wright has slipped tape. Wright's kick into the pocket where precision was so important. He missed Ryan. It's out on the full. Free kick to the Tigers.
And And one of the problems Richmond has is it has a very experienced full forward line. Stuart Edwards still 50 metres away from his man Michael Christian. He hasn't followed him down whatsoever. And the Richmond runner is now going out, and I imagine that's what he'll be instructing him to do.
Long course from Howard's kick, couldn't hold that one. Kellaway, courage, went to ground. Shaw, well played. Weaves his way through. He's doing all right, Tony Shaw, in his 302nd game. Back in towards the centre. Good balance by Buckley and a brilliant handball. Found Brown around his body under pressure. Plain was there. McGuan hit back Mickey from there normally. He misses. He's a sharpshooter on the run, McGuan. 1-3 to 2 points.
And a good battle between Mick McGuan and Tony Free. Both players getting a number of possessions. McGuan getting most of his in the forward half, Free in the back half, and therein lies the difference in their effectiveness at the moment.
Turner went to Tape. Ryan with him. Tape's little kick got about 15 metres along the boundary line. He kept it in play and not out on the full, which was a clever move. Out, you reckon that was deliberate, Robbo?
I tell you what, there's a case for it, Bruce. Well, like no intention of keeping it inside the boundary line.
I think he was saved by the fact that it went 15 metres. Tony Free gets a quick one.
Fair enough. Kellaway. Oh, was that a throw? Well, the umpire very much on the spot. Now Bauer receiving from Knights. Nearly went for the hand pass. Got past Hassel. Left foot snapped by Bauer. Not bad. Just offline. And Richmond register another behind. Kicked by Nathan Bauer with just under 9 minutes left in the first quarter. The Tigers lead 1-4. Collingwood have just kicked those two behinds.
Good to see Bauer getting the ball early in the game. He had a pretty good game last week, finished in the middle of the ground for the Tigers.
Kicked by Krasiska. Sorry, Jared.
Plenty of ability, Bauer.
He's well outside the 50-metre line. Graham Wright. Handball over the top, not bad either. Into the path of Monkhorst. Away to Gavin Brown. Brown's kick towards half forward. A little too short there for Sanford. Back goes Turner for the Tides. Turner goes into the middle of the ground. It's a good kick. He finds Matthew Knights. Handball over the top. Very ordinary, Matthew. You wouldn't want to look at that again. Nathan Buckley over the top. Look for Mickey McGuan, but it's taken away by Free. Courage needed. Very much so. Daffy. A quick kick to the right forward pocket. It'll bounce over. Michael Christian quite happy there. He slipped. Edwards is there for the Tigers. Boundary throw in 15, 20 metres around from the Richmond goal.
Pretty tough for both full forwards at the moment. There's so much pressure in midfield that there's very few spearing kicks coming into the forward line. Not encouraging them to lead.
Edwards got the tap. Rogers with him was Watson. Daffy, who did well a moment ago to get a kick away to Edwards. Left foot. Not going to frighten the goals. Murphy will be out on the full. And Krasiska to take it.
Edwards kicked 4 goals, 7 in the reserves last week. He can kick goals and he can kick them a long way. If you remember back 2 years ago when the Tigers made the grand final of the Foster's Cup, it was Stuart Edwards that was one of the key factors in their success.
He's playing his first game this season in the seniors today. Krasiska out wide. Pretty long. Deer in the front spot. Monkhorst has dominated so far. Deer had an airy. Here's Wright to centre wing. Caught underneath it was Ryan. Bond and Francis, a couple of pacey goers there. Bond towards the boundary line, out of play at half back. Rowe started on Bond. They had a wrestle, which went on for a while, and Rowe dislocated his shoulder and came off. Francis started on the interchange in his game back from the State of Origin hamstring injury. Tony Francis, second left foot kick of the day. Underneath it, Broderick, good mark. It was a free kick, I guess, in the end, paid against Tony Shaw, who was committed in the shirt front position, and Broderick at half back has kicked the only goal of the match so far.
Goes in towards the centre, and a good mark taken by Kellaway. Nathan Buckley not too happy there, but
Kellaway, a student physiotherapist and a player of immense talent.
Deer lumbering, gets his kick away. It may have bounced, yes it has, just inside the boundary line. So a throw-in will take place about 20 metres around from the Richmond goal. They lead 1-4, Collingwood 2 behinds.
Good to see him matched up with Buckley too, because I think he is a better midfield player than he is a defender, where he has played most of his football. I saw him keep Greg Williams under control for about 40 minutes when they played Carlton, the Tigers. But most of the time he's been put in the back pocket or the back flank.
In trouble momentarily was Johnny Hassel, but it rebounded and he got the kick away out to the wing where it beat Sanford and landed in Broderick's hands. Broderick, good look upfield, punched away by Krasiska. Ball rebounds for Hassel. He in turn goes to Graham Wright. Wright kicks high off the left foot to a vacant half-forward area. Back goes Tate. Had to show a bit of strength there. Will get the free kick. Now the advantage may be paid. Well done, Jamie Tate. A short kick into the centre. It's taken by Knights. Tigers on a roll. Matthew Knights set up this scenario. No, the kick is ordinary. It's broken down, taken away by Wright. To Watson. In turn, Houlihan. Maggie's out of trouble.
Brown, McGuan goes for goal. Vacant square. Bouncing behind. Matthew Knight's in trouble.
Yeah, the ball ricocheted when he kicked it, and it was either the ball that hit him or perhaps the elbow. Let's have a look on replay. Bang. And a nice little backhander there from Gavin Krasiska. No malice intended, of course.
Campbell, Knights again.
Put that kick at McGuan's indicated just how swirly this breeze here is at the MCG.
Kellaway, Daffy, 50 metres out. Goal square, Murphy sets himself. Krasiska, Naish out of play. It's an exciting day to be at the footy. The crowd are roaring and they're enjoying it, aren't they?
Just one game. This is his second match to Justin Murphy, and maybe lacking a little bit of experience there.
Just hasn't been able to get an easy kick, has he, to start himself off today. Broderick, Edwards, smothered. Edwards again, taken away by Watson.
Right.
Well played, Broderick. Smothered again by Krasiska and out of play.
The defensive skills have been an absolute highlight so far in this game from both sides.
As indicated on the scoreboard, 1-4 to 3 points.
Moncourse and Edwards again in the pocket. Deer playing a kick behind. Moncourse got the fist. Krasiska. That was Deer caught underneath it, playing good grab. It was, he had to leap and then stretch and hold it.
Greg Deer a little lucky that he didn't give 50 metres away there. Bradley Plain kicks wide to right half forward. Taken there by Tate. Howard back to Tate. Dropped it. Got great backing up by Bond. Good running. He should get a very good pat on the back at quarter time there, Bond, but he let himself down.
That's the sort of
ordinary kick.
Pressure through the middle is not making it life easy for the full forwards to know exactly when to lead.
Moncourse has got the football at full-back for the Magpies. He gets it to Hassel. Hassel close to the boundary line, goes short, a little too short. Looking for Houlihan. Ball comes back to Broderick. Broderick's little kick, again, is a little too high for the intended teammate in Naish. And Moncourse is marked in the right back pocket.
Well, I think the side that handles these conditions best will probably break out with a match-winning lead at some stage in this first half, because both sides are still chipping the ball around, trying to play possession football, where in swirly conditions like this, you're far better off going with a long bomb.
Well, the ball has been forced all the way down to the wing, so well out of the danger zone as far as Collingwood is concerned now, and it's a 50-50 situation on the outer wing where we have a boundary throw-in. Glenn Sanford, number 45 for the Magpies. Johnny Howard gets the tap out. Goes back to McGuan, nearly tackled, shrugged it. Got back and delivered the hand pass to Shaw. Shaw in the middle of the ground. Kick was smothered off the boot. Rebounds now to James. James kick for goal. Maggies have got one. Magpies' first goal coming with 3.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Kicked by Brett James.
Mick McGuan once again involved in this passage of play, as is Tony Shaw. But this wasn't a great kick. It was smothered in flight. This was a good kick. A major from 45 metres.
Point the difference of the MCG. James' first goal for Collingwood. Deer goes off the ground. It's 1-4 to 1-3. Good take by Rogers. Long bomb out on the fall. I think they might have found a player in James. He can find the goals, he can kick one under pressure.
He would come from South Australia, any chance?
I think he did. I used to back for Nord when I was a kid. Christian from the pocket. Monkhorst, Gale. Brendan Gale's mark in the front spot. The big monkey won't like it.
Yeah, most of Richmond's good performances, Bruce, are centred around Brendan Gale taking a lot of marks. He just has to present himself a little bit more, I feel.
Yes, there's a big disparity between his best games and his worst games. He's got to close that gap a little bit to become a consistent player.
Rogers from the pocket. Good looking kick. Just missing. So Rogers with the behind, his second. And Richmond at 1-5 to 1-3. Krasiska to bring it back in. It's been a very good first quarter.
It's amazing. You don't need to see big scores kicked, do you, to have interest in football? Only 2 goals kicked so far.
No, I love them when they're tight. The State of Origin was 11 goals to 10.
Well, I think that's a terrific indication, isn't it? One of the best games you've ever seen.
Watson at half-back. To centre wing. Could be really rude here, couldn't I, and say at least it's terrific when one team scores. Not like in that other game. Shaw to centre wing, a throw in.
Subtleties are unbelievable, Bruce. It was played here too, wasn't it? Centre wing. 1-5 to 1-3. Richmond lead by 2 points. A real struggle for possession on the centre wing. It's forced forward for the Tigers. Chopped off by Tony Francis. Gets the handball back to Watson. Watson blindly, but got good distance with the kick, but an excellent mark taken by Wayne Campbell. Very much a rated player, in my opinion, Campbell. Plays consistently well for the Tigers, week in, week out. That's not a bad kick, and that's what we like to see. If you're watching Richmond surging forward, Brendan Gale taking a big mark at centre-half forward. The kick, not all that spectacular. Murphy gathers, but it's over for a throw-in about 12-15 metres around from the Richmond goal. So the Tigers, with 2 minutes left in the quarter, have got a chance to score. The ruckman, Deer and Monkhorst. Greg Deer, very experienced. Taken away by Hassel. Handball's close to the boundary line. Bauer and Graham Wright. Bauer didn't have the football, surely. Well, that's the way I saw it. The Collingwood fans not happy, but Bauer dragged completely away from the footy. And he's got the ball 50 metres. We'll have another look, Jared.
Yeah, he didn't have control of it.
Well, after watching the replay, I missed, Bruce, what happened then, but obviously he made an error with the kick.
He went short to Greg Deer, who had a couple to come over the top.
Oh, look at his face.
That.
Gee whiz.
She didn't spot that at first, so Greg Deer in all sorts of trouble. Would he have to come off, Jared, with that?
I would think so. I wouldn't think they'd be able to control the bleeding out on the ground, but with only a minute and 36 to quarter time, they may decide to keep him out there. No, he's coming straight off by looks. I'll stitch him up and he'll be back for the second quarter.
Now, this was the short pass. Watson and Kerrison, you can see they're both going for the footy. And
a couple of stitches required in the scalp there.
Blood just starting to abate now, just in the crown of the head, isn't it? Oh, the top of the head, I should say. Here we go, Watson and Kerrison. And Greg Deer coming off, and Mark Miranda coming on for his first run in league football. Half forward left for Richmond. Gale, Monkhorst won it easily. Wright shepherding. Murphy conceding a bit of ground. Had a fit of the fumbles, Murphy, and just ran it over the line. Kicked 5 goals against Essendon in his debut last week. There's Miranda coming on from West Perth, 18 years of age. Collingwood's done well here. They've got it about 40 metres further away from the goal. There's Tony Free's left footer. Naish and Hassel. Naish a beauty. He is a very good mark. He took a magnificent mark early in the match when Monkhorst was bearing down on him. And I tell you what, you'd back him to goal from here, this fellow. It's a terrific kick.
That he is. Miranda's gone into the forward pocket. Edwards has gone out to centre-half forward. And Brendan Gale will see the quarter out as the reserve ruckman.
Minute to go to quarter time. Nace from 30 metres out kicks a goal. it's a good one for the Tigers at this stage in a quarter.
Just a little bit of a nudge there from Nash. Not illegitimate, but as you said, Bruce, he's a pretty good shot at goal, either on the run or a set shot, as we just saw on the screen. Edwards has gone into the centre bounce.
Well, that's fair enough too, isn't it? He's probably their tallest option, apart from Greg Deere. Just may upset them a little bit, but they're fortunate that there's only 50 seconds left. They must hold Collingwood here after getting a late goal kicked by Chris Nash. Nothing happening from that centre bounce. Tony Shaw determined as ever. Edwards beaten for it this time by Monkhorst. Out in front of Tape, nearly taken down. Kerrison gets the handball away. James in the pocket, taken over, and it will be a boundary throw in the left forward pocket for Collingwood. About 40 metres around from their goal, and look at that blood on the right arm of Greg Deere. Maybe not too bad because the crack was in the scalp. So they might be able to do something about that, and he could start the second term for the Richmond side. Umpires John Russo, Greg Scroop and Shane McInerney. The bounce of the ball 40 metres from the Collingwood goal. There's the siren. So Richmond lead at quarter time in this interesting game at the MCG. The Tigers have kicked 2-5. Collingwood have kicked 1-3.
Start of the second term. 2-5-1-3 here. Very willing opening quarter. Monkhorst wins the tap. Brown held up by Knights, gets a oh no, free kick against Brown, holding the footy. Deere again in the walls. He's had some stitches in his head, about half a dozen, Dipper reckons.
Good sign for Richmond, not a player in their defensive half. They've all moved down trying to make handball options.
Knights to full forward. Chance for Miranda, is it Murphy rather? And it's a Butler, out of bounds. His first touch today. Yes, that was amazing, Jared. The whole of the Richmond backline came streaming down.
Well, the coaches do look at handball receive stats on that half back line, and that's what the coach would have asked for, John Northey. I want plenty of run out of defence, and it's always a good sign as to how the club's going.
Well, Edwards a long kick, but he's gone across to Gale, who's about 60 metres out. And it looks like they're going to long bomb here.
No one on the mark.
Gale goes for goal. Gets it right to the square. Murphy front spot. Krasiska. Watson held on to. No free kick. Yes, it is. Gets it in the back pocket, so the Tigers going all right.
Well, as we said, Murphy kicked 4 goals, 5 goals at debut last week, but I am told he is a very good high mark. It will be difficult in these blustery conditions.
Yes, it looks very much as though he's got that concern, Jared. Even watching him in the first quarter, he got near the football a few times, but for a young man, these conditions in his second match a little bit difficult at this stage. Gale doing the ruck work, tries to get it down to Knights, but it's Broderick. Gets it through to Brendan Gale, back to Knights. Good combination by the Tigers. Matthew Knights kicks loose off the side of his boot. Oh, well done. Murphy marked, but in turn gave the free kick away. Well, Krasiska takes it, gets it to Watson. Watson goes down towards the wing. In front, good mark taken by Sanford in front of Johnny Howard. Goes for the further option in Christian. Christian's little left foot kick looks there for Bradley Plain. Free kick has been awarded against Wayne Campbell, and Bradley Plain will take it in the centre of the ground. Plain goes to the left-hand side of the ground. Out there is Rocker leading. Didn't touch the football in the first quarter. Taken away by Turner. Gets his foot to the ball very quickly. Important that. One-on-one out there between Free and McGuan. In to help out Kerrison. Spins out of trouble. Backs himself, runs away. Handball Christian in all sorts of trouble. You must be penalised.
Oh, that's a good decision. He didn't have an opportunity to get rid of it. He was pinned as soon as he took possession of the ball. What do you think, Robert?
You're the expert. I'll leave it in your capable hands, Jared.
I'm not saying I agree with the rule. I think if you're outpinned, there should be a reward for the perfect tackle, but that's the way the umpires interpret it.
Well, I guess it's up to the individual, and there's 3 central umpires now, and that does cause a little bit of concern for the fans watching a game, that they've all got different interpretations. Monkhorst couldn't get away with the football. Mickey McGuan tackle on free. Callaway tries to get it out there for Daffy. Daffy held onto his opponent, which was Kerrison, when he didn't have the football. Nathan Buckley trying to get the advantage rule paid.
No, it's the other way, Robbo. Dropping the footy, Kerrison.
Well, there you go. And it's Daffy who'll take the free kick, and he kicks it into the right forward pocket for the Tigers. Brendan Gale in front of Houlihan has taken his 3rd mark. He's in the right forward pocket, 50 metres from goal, and he kicks it to the front of the square. Good mark taken by Edwards, leading out into that position, which certainly must make it easier for him to kick a goal if he's out in front.
And Graham Wright just stood back and allowed Edwards to come through. You'll probably pick it up on screen here. I think the wind baffled him a little bit. There he is there. The wind just ducked away at the last minute. If he had gone flat out, he would have taken it on the chest.
Edwards from 25 metres directly in front, kicks for goal, and the Tigers have got their 3rd. Stuart Edwards kicks his first goal, and Richmond lead by 14 points, 3-5 to 1-3.
And 8 scoring shots to 4 indicates probably just how well Richmond are going. Very impressed with this player. You can see his right knee heavily bandaged. That's where he had the tendonitis.
(3-5-1-3). Ryan to Buckley. Kick under pressure. Well played by Howard. The thumper back Kellaway, who did a good job on Buckley in the opening term. Tape and a ball up.
Once again, we saw Nathan Buckley. It was his first kick of the afternoon. It wasn't fantastic. Last week I watched him against the Crows, and out of 28 possessions, his first 8, I would have thought, would have gone nowhere. Something, I think, for a player of his immense foot skills, has to look at.
Sanford went with Deer. Shaw got a high kick out. Back to half forward. Richmond with some numbers. Francis roved well. Another high kick. Carbon copy of Shaw's. Turner pushed out free kick. He's giving Rocker an old-fashioned bath at the moment. Early days, I know.
What's the difference between an old-fashioned bath and a new bath?
No idea. Just thought it sounded right. Felt like a cliche. Turner out wide. Gale. Houlihan. Ripped it off him. Free kick to Gale.
That was a bit soft. That's a bit ordinary.
Gale from half-back. Centre wing. Edwards. Christian. Shaw dropped it. Free kick. High tackle the first one. Next goal pretty important, I reckon, Jared. One way or the other. The Tigers have got a little break here and going all right, aren't they?
Certainly served notice to Collingwood that they mean business.
Maxfield. And you reckon that this is their big chance to make a move in this season. Lose today, they're an also-ran. Win today, and they've got some sort of hope with a final 8. And they've given themselves a chance at 3-5 to 1-3. Early days, I know, in this game. Daffy's kick, Christian. Let's see if they can keep going. Monkhorst. Bond runs at it hard. James, Maxfield. Howard, handball good. Free. Murphy at the back. Krasiska at the front. Play on call. Well played, Krasiska. A bit too easy. Out wide, here's the chance Collingwood have been looking for.
Graham Wright on his own has got 15 or 20 metres in front of himself. The second bounce didn't come back to him quite as much as he expected. Then the kick into the pocket too far. Monkhorst lumbering after it. The ball rolls away from Damien Monkhorst over for a boundary throw-in.
Once again, the wind playing havoc with those precision passes, and perhaps a long bomb into Severio would have been a better option.
Well, the ruckmen go at it. This time it is Rocker and Deer. Campbell gets the hand pass to Maxfield. Well done. That's a free kick to Bradley Plain. Well, I thought he dragged him down quite fairly, and the umpire not prepared to give the kick up. Underneath all that is tape, and surely Collingwood supporters have got every reason there to... Bradley Plain's tackle was pretty good. Here's Maxfield with the ball. He gets caught red-handed, doesn't get rid of it, dragged to the ground, then throws it onto his left boot. Well, you can think yourself very, very fortunate. Free's hand pass was blocked, rebounded back to Bond, away to Callaway, in turn to Free. Tony Free now, his kick goes in towards half forward. Good mark, Watson. Excellent mark.
Playing well, Watson.
Well, he's a very good defender, a state player. His kick goes towards half forward. High flyer and too early. Richmond player, could have been Rogers, was it? Campbell, and the free kick to Monkhorst.
55 metres out, Rocker provides a lead. Monkhorst then goes to the goal square. James Maxfield, Rocker, big fly, big grab, he's got it.
And look at Hurlahan at the bottom of the screen there, Bruce. He's run all the way from full back or centre half back where he is picking up Brendan Gale to present himself. He didn't end up with a football because of this terrific mark from Big Sav. But that's the sort of running that Lee Matthews would be looking for from his half-back line.
He kicked 10 in the match last year at the MCG against the two teams when Richmond led by 6 goals at one stage. He's kicked his first. Collingwood edge back, 2-3, 3-5. It's a game where every goal is celebrated.
And for the first time in the game just about, Collingwood elected to go with a long bomb and Sav didn't let them down. Put the big mitts up, dragged it down and converted.
Well, Rocker kicks his first goal with his first kick for the game. Deer and Monkhorst, 12 minutes left in the second quarter. Monkhorst has had the better of the centre bounces. Campbell gets it back, Bond in trouble. Really, Wayne Campbell probably put him under the pressure that he didn't want there. Collingwood players swarming onto Chris Bond.
What a great tackle from Bradley Plain though.
Yes, I guess you can give away a free kick if you've got the momentum up, but his was excellent. 50 metres now from the Collingwood goal. Goes back to Howard. Howard gets his left foot to it. Kicks it wide. Mounts it close to the boundary line. And nothing much there that Rogers could do. So we'll have a boundary throw in on centre wing. It's just forward of centre wing. Knights and McGuan having a little bit of a tete-a-tete off the ball there.
Rogers been shifted, has he, Gerard? I think he might have.
Yes, he has, and Bauer's come onto the half-forward flank. He's getting picked up by Watson.
Well, Matthew Knight sucked in there. McGuan's free kick. And Mickey looking for 50 after Greg Deere threw it a bit hard, but not 50 coming. McGuan from centre wing. Collingwood getting some steam up suddenly in this match. Rocker. Well done, Turner. Howard, Buckley. Callaway's been terrific. Back on into Monkhorst. To Houlihan from 45 metres. Left foot. Turner. Rocker. Rush through from behind. 2-4 to 3-5.
Bradley Plain coming off the ground.
He's injured, Gerard, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Brenton Sanderson getting his first run for the afternoon. Once again, we see Houlihan getting a kick across half forward. Turner
to Howard. Through centre half back. Floating kick. Naish. Oh, good. Well, free kick. Has to be. He's about to 75 metres from goal. Murphy in the square. Edwards back there. Gale looking for it at centre half forward. Which way will Naish go? High ball, wanting Gale, I guess. He's in the middle. Comes to ground, Daffy held on to.
Has to be a free.
Off the ground, Murphy goal.
Missed.
No, didn't get his foot to it. He's having one of those days, Murphy. He's only playing in his second game, but he's had one early on in his career. But gee, wasn't Daffy unlucky? Kerrison hanging on forever.
The umpire seemed to have a good look at it.
It's amazing stuff as Krasiska prepares to kick it back into play for the Magpies. 3-6 plays 2-4. Krasiska goes short, finds Kerrison. Only about 10 metres away from the goal square. Kerrison goes longer and wider. Very close to the line it goes over in front of Damien Monkhorst and Tony Shaw. And we'll have a throw in right half forward for the Tigers. Be 2 kicks from their goal. Greg Deere at the back. Gets his right arm to it. Rogers overruns it. Buckley with balance, but couldn't get the successful hand pass away. Bauer, 50 metres out. Bauer goes for goal. It's in the square. Edwards couldn't take the mark. It slipped through his hands for a behind to Richmond. Stuart Edwards, a chance gone begging. 3 goals, 7 to 2-4. We've got 10 minutes left in the second quarter. A goal each to Richmond and Collingwood in this second quarter.
Krasiska, Gale and Monkhorst. Broderick, well done. Outside 50, goes for goal. Right there to behind. 3-8 to 2-4. Some changes coming up from the bench.
Yeah, Alan Richardson's come on for Stephen Ryan, and Miranda is back. We're waiting to be interchange of something. I just wonder whether it'll be a Justin Murphy. He seems to be just trying to force a little bit, and perhaps a 5-minute spell on the bench at allowing him just to settle down a bit, a player in his second game. 3-8
to 2-4, McGuan. Third time he's taken a short pass from Krasiska.
When are we going to see someone penalised for that?
McGuan to half back. Monkhorst, Gale. Monkhorst too good that time. The big monkey. Been a great player for Collingwood, the centre wing. Sanderson trying to one-hander. Campbell against him. Knights again a free kick against him. Deer coming off the veranda.
Well, with Deer off, you would expect that Edwards would go onto the ball again. Perhaps Gale.
Sanderson back in the team. Good pass to Shaw. Rocker probably too far away. McGuan, very good in this situation. Brown, little chip, excellent. James, tucked away in the right forward pocket. He kicked Collingwood's first goal today in the opening term. Terrific crowd here now. James's kick is excellent. Well, say excellent, missing the behind, but gee, not a bad kick off the boot. 1-1 for James, and the Maggies crawl up to 2 goals, 5, and Richmond a 3-8.
Well, it's been a real battle for the respective forward lines to come to grips with the difficult conditions prevailing at the MCG. As Turner kicks in for the Tigers, he goes to the far side of the ground. Again, pretty good distance. The ball belted back in the Nathan Buckley direction. His kick across his body wasn't too bad. Maxfield grabbed by Francis. Tony Free gets the handball to Bond. Back it goes to Broderick. Broderick has a bit of a look and kicks it out near the wing. Well done by Bauer. Lovely little hand pass, finds Matthew Knights doing some good running in towards the forward line, and the mark has been taken by Miranda. Miranda is at left half forward. He kicks in towards centre half forward. Excellent mark. Good jump. Well judged. And Rogers has taken it between centre half forward and full forward, about 35 metres out, and pretty well straight in front.
And Matthew Knights was the architect of that move. He was the player that brought it through midfield. He appears to have a new opponent in Mick McGuan. He started on Gavin Brown. He burnt him off with a 10-possession first quarter. And Mickey McGuan just appears to be struggling at the moment. I know he's getting plenty of touches, but he's not covering the ground.
Well, important kick for Rogers personally, and it looks as though it's pretty good to goal. So Rogers kicks his first goal for the day, and Richmond, well, they get away to 4-8 to 2-5, an advantage of 15 points.
Well, this will figure in mark of the day highlights next week. Rogers once again shows that he's a pretty good shot at goal.
15-point margin of the Melbourne Cricket Ground, 4-8 to 2-5. Late in the second quarter. Gale goes running hard at Monkhorst. Brown held up by Knight. Shaw's handball away to Christian. A quick kick. Getting underneath it was Tape, who played a brilliant first quarter.
And a point of interest at that bounce, Knights forced the issue by going and manning up on Gavin Brown. Mick McGuan wanted to be on him, so they had a 2-1 situation.
Watson's handball a bit loose. Shaw to Brown, goes to ground, caught. Play on called. Richmond are at Collingwood at the moment. Wright and Broderick. And the Tigers won a little moral battle there. They held it up. And if they get the next goal before half-time...
Thought the umpire had swallowed his whistle there, Johnny Russo.
Thought there might have been a Collingwood free underneath all that.
No, I reckon Brown was lucky he never got penalised.
A Richmond free then. Gale goes with Christian. Well done by Gale. To Daffy. Daffy to the goal square. Mark to Murphy.
That's better. That's what we saw last week. Good boy.
17 years of age. Baby face. 5 goals in his debut against the Bombers. He's about to kick his first, and this will be the biggest margin so far of the match.
Jeez.
They've pinched to break the Tigers. 5-8 to 2-5.
Bruce, I just think the forward line for Richmond now just looks a bit better. Murphy seems to be more comfortable when he isn't competing for the high balls with Stuart Edwards. Now, the injury to Deere, Edwards has gone up the ground. He's now at centre-half forward. Gale's gone into the ruck, and Murphy's left one out. He's a tremendously talented high mark, and if the ball hits the ground, not many players will be able to go with him. Krasiska's not a bad matchup for him, actually.
The ball back in the centre, and Richmond 21 points in advance of the Magpies. Campbell kicks quickly with the left foot. Well done by Hassel. He made it for himself, then put right under a little bit of pressure. Back goes right to try and make amends. Gets the sweeping hand pass out into the path of Brown. Brown's kick across his body. Not quite making it there was Sanderson. And the ball is forced over. No, a free kick to Collingwood. Maybe a little bit of jumper grabbing, or the umpire indicating that it was over the shoulder. And the free kick goes to Francis. He goes in towards Christian. Drops what he should have taken. Richmond, Bruce has already mentioned, are right at the Magpies. Here goes Francis trying to make something out of nothing. And his kick goes across the half-forward line. Away goes Edwards and Monkhorst. Monkhorst ducking and weaving. Gets away from Campbell. Back to Richardson. Richardson in the direction of Rocker. Couldn't take the mark. Got his left foot at it. And missed. Big build-up. Very little result for the Maggies. 2-6 plays 5-8. 20 points the lead for Richmond. And there's 5 minutes left in the second term.
Turner to bring it back in. 5-8 to 2-6. Brown couldn't cut it off. It was a good kick, wasn't it? Measured perfectly.
Brilliant kick, Bruce.
Kellaway, that's a wobbly one. Gale will take it. Couldn't quite hold it. Knights, Bauer, Rogers. Too slow. Much too slow. Wright brings him down. Play on call. McGuan, an opportunity missed. Hassel away. Oh, free kick to Nash. Oh, wow.
Don't do anything silly, Richmond. You've got the ball. Just slight remonstrations are all that's necessary.
Well, the Tigers are pretty pumped up.
It's an awkward ship, but look at this.
Well, the doctor's signalling that the Richmond player is okay. There was no need for it though, Bruce.
No, but I think it was awkward more than anything else, don't you? From Houlihan's point of view.
Yeah, he had the bumper bar up. I don't think he went with him. He did make connection with the forearm, but there wasn't a malicious elbow as perhaps the Tiger players thought.
It's going to come back.
Well, I think Lee Matthews will be looking forward to the half-time siren. It's very difficult to stop aside momentum as the Tigers have got going at the moment.
Campbell short, it's got him.
It's amazing that, you know, if you can't get a flow on and the opposition get a little bit of a break, it doesn't matter what you try, Jared. You know, they could be going for another 5 or 6 hours and they may never kick a bundle of goals.
This has felt like that in my old days with Melbourne a few times, Robert.
Campbell from about 45 metres. In fact, he kicks it right on the 50. Good kick, it's a goal. Well, this break now, Jared, is quite significant. 6-8 to 2-6 is 26 points.
Yes, I've been impressed with the midfield players for Richmond. Their direct opponents have been getting plenty of ball, but they've been more direct with their possessions. And the Richmond forward line just starting to click. Good work with Wayne Campbell getting a goal. Hasn't kicked many this year.
It was a brilliant kick by Wayne Campbell to register the Tigers' 6th goal. That was their 3rd goal in 6 minutes to just break it open ever so slightly.
Well, I think the fact that Knights has got on top in the middle and that Callaway is doing a terrific job on Buckley has curtailed the Collingwood drive immensely.
Well done by Broderick. Gets a sweeping hand pass in the direction of Daffy. Daffy goes back to Broderick. Broderick gets past and then with the left foot delivers brilliantly and hits Naish right on the chest 50 metres from goal. Kick it into the square. No, there's not really any tall players back there.
He kicked the goal from there.
Well, it's a big statement. It's 50 metres. Let's see what Chris Naish can do. He doesn't quite get onto the kick. It floats over and hits the post. No, there's a free kick out of the contest back there against Murphy. And it goes to Krasiska. Gets the handball away after being asked to play on. Richardson then in turn to Watson. Watson deep in defence. Kicks it out near the wing. Marking contest. It's a big punch away by Johnny Howard. And it goes over for a boundary throw-in. Well, I did make mention that Matthew Knights was very, very pumped up. He's had 7 kicks and 5 handballs.
And looks to have a new opponent, Tony Francis, who's grabbing his Guernsey.
Christian in the front spot. McGuan tries to break through. Shaw. Broderick gives a free kick away. I'll come back to McGuan.
Well, Knights is the player that Richmond needed to lift. He's a dual best and fairest winner. He's a state player and he's a terrific player when he's in form. And he just has had a bad season initially with a dislocated shoulder and a torn lateral ligament in the Foster's Cup. But he has come ready to play footy today.
McGuan. Big fly from Rocker. Brown. Bond runs across in front of him very well and knocks it out of play.
He's an important player too for the Tigers. Chris Bond, he's been good since crossing from Carlton.
Brown and Buckley both struggling to get quality possessions today. 8 touches, Brown, 5, Buckley. They're 2 men that can hurt you if they get hold of the footy. Tate and Rogers and Wright. Was it out of bounds on the fall-off right?
Brown has been shifted into the half-forward line for Collingwood.
Greg Deer's got his right knee heavily strapped down there.
Brown's being tracked by Bond.
Moncourse in the front spot. Edwards tries to work around. Over the back, Howard. Buckley. Touch number 6 for him. Looking for Brown. The 2 I mentioned a moment ago. And a terrific mark at Bond and Howard against him. He's looking inside Brown. Collingwood needing a goal. Chips it short to Wright. Still on the 50. And with the wind playing havoc, you wouldn't expect Wright to be able to goal from here.
They've been scarce, haven't they, in the first half for the Maggies? Only 2.
One in each term.
Missing Bradley Rowe, who was in terrific form against the Crows. He's one of their main goal scorers. He's missing with an injured shoulder.
Wright kicks it right to the line. In fact, way over the line from behind. So he got the distance all right. Collingwood at 2-7 to 6-8. Minute and a half remaining in this opening term. Crowd of around 60,000, you would think now. It has built up, and Turner to bring it back, and he's got Bond short and wide. He has kicked in very well, Turner. This one, Chancey. Richardson attacks strongly. Free kick to Richmond. Well, Collingwood were set up there.
Oh, Mickey wasn't too happy. Mickey McGuan. I think you could see there was a real chance from that punch away. Howard it is that breaks away from centre half back for the Tigers. Kicks near centre half forward. Punched away by the Collingwood defence. Rebounds in the direction of Francis. Held was Knights. Umpire Russo having nothing to do with it. Collingwood will get out of trouble. A quick hand pass by Houlihan. Found Watson. In turn to Monkhorst. To full forward, too high. At the back, mopping up beautifully and doing a pretty good job back there, Johnny Howard. A ball clean bowls Edwards. Then it gets through to Tate. He's in trouble. Little bit of time, but put Matthew Knights under enormous pressure. Francis tucks it under his arm and then kicks back near the centre, and a terrific mark taken by Tony Shaw against Nathan Bauer. Just used his body to keep the younger player out of position, and now kicks in towards half forward where the mark has been taken for Collingwood by Sanford. Well, he just has to kick a goal, Glenn Sanford. Maggie's only 2-7 in nearly half a game. Not good enough.
She didn't Tape and Howard make a mess of it back there, though, for Richmond. Howard's kick ordinary and Tape.
They just didn't know what to do in the end.
There's a couple of possessions given away in the finish as Collingwood now shoot for goal through Glenn Sanford. Hooks the kick, trying to get that little bit of extra distance, and misses to the left-hand side. His first score for the day is a behind. And the Tigers make a change as Tape comes off the ground and Neal comes on. Straight away, Neal appealing for it as Turner will kick in.
Goes long.
Jeez, that's a great kick.
As the siren sounds for half-time, Richmond in that quarter kicking 4 goals, 3 to Collingwood, 1-5. Houlihan involved in that incident with Naish, and the Tigers are in a winning position. I know it's only halfway, and in a low-scoring game, things can change so quickly, but Collingwood managed just 2 goals in that opening half. At half-time, it's Richmond by 4, 6-8 to 2-8. Second half, 6-8 to 2-8. Big roar goes up.
Well, that Francis did quite well on Knights in the last 2 or 3 minutes of that quarter. I'd imagine he'd pick him up again.
Well, you'd expect Collingwood to be charged up here. They'll come at Richmond in the first 5 minutes. Monkhorst, Deer, Monkhorst wins it. Shaw, McGuan, just to Knights. Richmond could really hurt Collingwood with a quick goal. Hassel attacks it. Well played, Daffy. The handball's okay. No. Well done, Shaw, to cut off Naish and run it to the boundary line at right half forward for the Tigers. There's Hassel, whose vision looks a bit blurred at the moment. Can hardly open his eyes, all squinting after copping a knock there. Richmond lead by 4 goals in the big game at the MCG. Queen's birthday. Who'll take the honours today? High kick by Shaw, or good mark by Broderick.
Houlihan to centre half forward for Collingwood. And both Miranda and Murphy, it'll be a commentator's nightmare, are both in the full forward line for Richmond.
Miranda's got a long sleeve Guernsey, Jerry. That should help us a bit, shouldn't it? Broderick. Gale sets himself. Krasiska. And Bauer falling and looking for something. And not there and out of play at right forward pocket. He was all right, Bauer, in the second quarter. It's been an entertaining match. Low scoring but exciting. Gale and Christian both got underneath it. Shaw looked for a free kick, he didn't get one. Christian gave it up, Miranda couldn't get away with it. Ball comes thrown out. It's with Hassel. Hassel keeps it in play. Knights gets onto it now. Oh, too slow. Francis has got a hold of him. Free outside 50. Can do something constructive. He goes to the goal square. Naish sets himself, well played by Krasiska. He punches it away. And Richmond leads 6-9 to 2-8.
What about the display of explosive pace there by Tony Francis, just to put enough pressure on Knights to make him muck up his disposal.
Kick in has been marked by Tony Shaw at right half back. Gets distance down towards the wing, and a good mark taken by Sanderson. Brendan Sanderson is just behind the wing, and he kicks it high towards half forward. Marking contest, Houlihan couldn't take it. Howard falls over. Nathan Buckley, who's been pretty well contained out there by Duncan Callaway. And Nathan Buckley just looking a slight bit frustrated there. Just 3 kicks and 3 handballs in the first half.
Campbell has been moved on to Gavin Brown. Appears to be playing as a half-forward roaming player, Gavin Brown.
Tony Shaw, that certainly was a bit suspect. Houlihan out into the path of Ryan. Dragged down very well by Howard. Knocked away there by Callaway from Buckley. And it goes over for a throw in the right forward pocket for Collingwood. You say, Bruce, that Collingwood will come at Richmond, but it's amazing. There's 18 players in the Richmond Guernsey that will be equally as determined, I would think, to frustrate the opportunities of the Collingwood side. Here's Francis. Ball very awkward to handle. Tape grabbed by the leg, must receive the free kick.
Well, I was talking to a couple of old-time Tiger supporters at half-time, and they just said, beware the third quarter Tiger fade-out. It's been a real problem for them this year, so I'm sure that Northey would have reiterated that at half-time and said, come on, fellas, this is the premiership quarter, let's do it.
Well, fairly blatant free kick, and away go the Tigers. It's Bauer. Went for the second bounce. It really wasn't on. Matthew Knight's experienced. He gets it away quickly to Bond. Bond off the left foot, kicks towards half forward. Awkward bounce. Now it's Hassel getting it back to Wright. Wright goes to Kerrison, and Kerrison kicks it out towards the wing, and a good mark taken by Francis in front of Matthew Knights.
Terrific mark, wasn't it? We've been told Bradley Plain's got a groin injury, so doubtful if he'll come back on. And Rowe also off with that dislocated shoulder, so Collingwood effectively down to 19. Bond's handball, very good. Naish misses the kick to half forward. Murphy, big fly. Well done, Krasiska. Bauer should do something constructive. Oh, missed by Daffy. Poor play by a couple of Richmond players there, and held up by Collingwood. Daffy had spent it before he had taken it.
Well, we saw yesterday the Brisbane Bears just looking like they didn't know how to win against the West Coast Eagles, and I'm sure the Tigers have got just the same problem. They're not experienced at winning, and that is also a habit in football.
Tony Free might have kicked the goal, hit the post. Oh, looked a chance all the way through the air. And look at this, 16 scoring shots to 10 now at 6-10 to 2-8. Right on top here, Richmond, for the moment.
Well, their back line has been absolutely fantastic, just restricting Collingwood to just 2 goals in well over now half a game of football.
Krasiska short to Alan Richardson, who started on the interchange. Richardson goes wide, Moncourse the target, at the back. Deer with him, now Tony Shaw gets the handball away to Sanderson. Runs a fair way, too far. Oh, it's not happening for the Maggies yet.
Brendan Sanderson not protesting all that much, so it's amazing, I suppose, in a situation like that you can get a bit carried away with how far you're running, Jared.
Well, we saw it on display then, Robert.
Good mark taken by Gale. Christian missed it by a long way. Brendan Gale now sweeps around onto the right foot, gets good distance into the square. Running onto it, Tony Free tries to crash his way through. Hassel forces it over for a boundary throw-in.
Greg Deer's coming off for the Tigers again. They gave him 5 minutes just to see how that knee was going. It's obviously no good, and he'll be replaced by Stuart Edwards, who is quite an accomplished ruckman.
Brendan Gale doing the ruck work with Michael Christian, kicked away by Krasiska, back near the wing, and Monkhorst, much too tall for Matthew Knights, has marked.
Plays on, can't get around Bauer. Handball to Sanderson, tackled, gets it to McGuan. McGuan to half forward under pressure. Tape and a Ryan and out of play.
Once again, the pressure through midfield from the Tiger players has been exceptional. That was no exception, and Mick McGuan just blazed away.
Right half forward for Collingwood. They've kicked 2 goals in over an hour of football. Houlihan and Howard. Shaw. Bond. Out of bounds. Richmond have kicked only 6 goals, and that's what's kept Collingwood in a low-scoring match. 2 goals in 2 minutes. Big turnaround. So this game's still up for grabs. Moncourse to Shaw. Sanderson. Houlihan and Howard. Kellaway. Kick around his body was pretty good. Shaw getting touches. Brown and Free. James. Kellaway. Turner under pressure. Panicked badly. Buckley, the tackle on him was terrific. Kellaway well played. Campbell overran it. Then keeps it in front of him. Still in play. Maxfield's got to take a chance. Got the handball away from Wright. Ryan sold a dummy. Maxfield gets back. All mistakes galore. Maxfield with a torpedo to centre wing. Big play coming up. Rogers gets hold of it. Handball over the top to Miranda. Decides not to. Bounces once. Strolls away and kicks it to Murphy.
Well, how long did Stephen Ryan take to give that handball on the half-forward flank?
What about Turner flipping it out the back? It wasn't that a throw? Oh, dear me.
Well, wouldn't this make a big difference if Murphy could go bang from centre half forward after all that at half forward for Collingwood? He can kick a footy, we know that. He goes from 50. It's all right. He's got it, I think. Missed. Oh, you're a good judge, Robbo. Said he just missed from here. So Murphy with a behind. He's kicked 1-2. Now we think John Howard might have some blood coming from maybe the nose there as Kerrison gets it. It's 6 goals, 11 to 2-8.
He's a good type, John Howard. He'll be all right. As Kerrison kicks it back near the wing. Marking contest between Edwards and Monkhorst. Little tap on there by McGuan wasn't bad. Knights overruns it. Francis, look at that ball bouncing awkwardly, but Francis is able to gather and then gets his right foot to it, kicks it out near the wing, the mark taken by Sanderson. He plays on quickly. Collingwood player loose down there is Brown. Brown in turn, across his left shoulder finds Buckley, and you were lucky, the Richmond player there, not knocking the ball out of Buckley's hands because 50 metres there was critical. Buckley's kick to the front of the square, and a good mark taken by Turner. Number 41 for Richmond, and number 41 for Collingwood was Stephen Ryan. Turner goes pretty well straight down the ground. Good kick, he finds Edwards. Right, Edwards gets the handball away. Campbell, Richmond running, should get a goal out of this. Campbell prepared to give it away. Rogers get rid of it quickly. He does, to the goal front. No mark, yes it is, easily in the finish to Krasiska. He plays on and goes to the far side. Out there is Brown. The ball bounces all the way away from Gavin Brown when he had a little bit of space for himself, and it goes over for a boundary throw-in right near the Collingwood players' race, and about 2 kicks from the Richmond goal. Monkhorst held, didn't have the football. Well,
got a big start to the quarter, big monkey.
Gets the handball away quickly to Kerrison.
At centre wing, Kerrison's kicked the centre half forward. Houlihan half volley, couldn't take it, held up by the Tigers. Handball by Howard, Knight's good, Bauer, Broderick, get the handball away. Edwards left foot, good one. Oh, Murphy underneath it in the end. Krasiska to Monkhorst. Collingwood still without a goal in 11 minutes of footy in the second half. Well done by Rogers to cut across Watson.
Now that shows you the spirit that's evident, doesn't it? That guy only had one eye, and that was for the footy. Have another look at this.
Well, Tony Free in a lot of trouble with that knee of Houlihan's going straight into his lumbar spine area.
Houlihan reported in the first half after the incident with Naish. McGuan had it ripped away. Bowers kick, Murphy behind, and he's going to have to present himself a bit better because Krasiska's had 3 kicks in a row.
Yeah, he looks to be waiting back, trying to take the big specky instead of leading out.
But why would the Richmond guy kick it short? Why didn't he go to the square?
Krasiska goes long. Sanderson, Monkhorst. Brown there, well played by Rogers. Bauer gets it from Naish, ripped off him by Hassel. Watson gets it from Brown, goes back. Alan Richardson to mop up, sidesteps once, goes to centre wing. Ryan in the front spot, Tape's been on top of him all day. Now Knight stops, props at centre wing. Still stops and props, doesn't do it very well. Matthew Knight gets a free kick.
Oh, a bit fortunate.
Very fortunate.
Just going back to that kick to Murphy, Jared, I just wonder, you know, if you can't kick it spot onto a guy, why don't you bomb it away to an area where it's...
I agree totally, Robbo, in these conditions.
A chance for your team to get it.
Bauer got it down the ground from Knight. Gale looks for a free kick against Krasiska, so does Murphy, and it's a bounce 35 metres from Richmond's goal. And if the Tigers can get one here...
Well, you'd reckon they would, Bruce. The Collingwood defence has been very good at repelling these attacks, but it's got to break down shortly.
Well, Brendan Gale tried to take the ball out of the air from that bounce. Unsuccessful. Picks himself up. 5 marks to the tall Richmond forward. Forced to do the ruck work was Christian. Broderick, slippery to Free. Snapshot by Tony Free, just misses. It's his second behind for this quarter. And we saw him interviewed at half-time in the Just a Minute segment. And what is his strength? His aggression at the football. Well, I don't think anyone doubts that. Mickey McGuan runs away from full-back. Kicks it with the left foot. We know that he's got a bit of a problem with the groin. Monkhorst gathers that awkward ball. His short kick. Well done by Howard. No messing around there, Johnny Howard. An old-fashioned defender. He takes it over for a boundary throw-in.
What do you mean by old-fashioned, Robert?
Well, I don't think there's any frills about the game that he plays across the half-back line. And these conditions suit a player like that. He's not blessed with pace. And he's certainly doing a good job for the Tigers this afternoon. He's free. Smothered off the boot there by Nathan Buckley. And it goes over for a boundary throw-in, and Dipper getting into the action. He can't resist it, can he? The smell of the leather. The ruckman go at it again. Monkhorst, but up over the top was Broderick. Tried to tap it clear. Daffy gets it now to Tony Free. Free's kick to full forward. Gale couldn't take the mark. Christian. No, a free kick against Murphy. It'll go to Brasiska.
He just gave him a shove out. Brasiska doing very well in defence.
Good looking kick, gives Christian the run of it. Rogers and Brown try to get into the action. Rogers, well done. He's had a good quarter. Should have got a free kick perhaps. Brown over the top. Now they go over the top of Brown and hold it up.
I thought it was a great second effort by Gavin Brown to get up off the ground and lunge and bring his Richmond opponent to the ground.
Pretty good effort by Rogers too.
Yes, there's been a good duel between those two. Those hit-outs as well, with Monkhorst on top. Deer off the ground again. Gale gets that one. Rogers, a bounce. He's having an effect on this game now, Rogers. To full forward. Murphy in the middle. Krasiska. Daffy went too early. Richardson to Watson. Swings it wide to Hassel. The Collingwood defence is standing up very well. Hassel comes away. Goes towards Francis and ricochets away. Well played by Bauer. The little give to Broderick. Broderick from 55 with a high ball. Kerrison. Nay, sure, goes very high. Kerrison, good mark.
Well, I think the Tigers have got to try another option at full forward. Perhaps move Brendan Gale down there. They're peppering away there with getting no results.
Murphy really out of sorts, isn't he? The 18-year-old.
Oh, you can't do that, big fellow. Neil has come back onto the ground. Miranda's been removed.
Neiled in to the centre. Broderick was almost loose to go away, decided not to. Now Gale is the target. He's going to hit him too. Oh, Brendan had to hold it. Christian tries to break the tackle. He does. Goes back to Krasiska, who sweeps a high, slow one to Brown. Brown to McGuan. Collingwood are building. McGuan out towards Francis. Well done by Bond. Runs it to the boundary line. Collingwood fans say deliberate. What about giving us a free kick?
They're letting themselves down though, the Pies. Their delivery off the half-back line has been fairly ordinary. Neil going to full forward. We saw a minute ago John Hassel kick into the centre, which grubbed and was another turnover, but the Tigers just can't put the nails in the coffin.
On the other hand, Collingwood yet to score in this third term.
Have they got it in their full forward area?
Well, I think they've probably had it across here a couple of times, set a half forward. But that Richmond defence, I know that I've mentioned about the conditions probably being set up for defenders with the swirling breeze.
Monkhorst has been moved, it was Rock has been moved out to centre half forward, and Houlihan's in the square for the Pies.
Bowers had a pretty good third quarter. He kicks Richmond up towards full forward. Well done, Christian. Running back with the flight of the ball. And he's taken a half a one-hander, if that's possible. Graham Wright marks at centre half back. Looks to play on. Now forced to go back to the outer wing area, where Brown takes the mark. Gets the handball over the top to Sanderson. He in turn could have gone short, but elected to kick blindly. Up towards full forward. Rocker got his left hand to it. Was ineffective. Away goes Turner. Turner into the centre of the ground. Good vision. He finds Campbell. Tigers can maybe mount something out of this. Campbell goes long into the left forward pocket region. The kick not too bad, and Brendan Gale, if you'd have made an extra half a yard, you could have nearly grabbed that with both hands. And if you have a look at this replay, you'll be even further crook on yourself. Left forward pocket for Richmond, boundary throw in, 45 metres from their goal, and Brendan Gale to do the ruck work up against Christian. 6 goals 12 to 2 goals 8. Away goes Krasiska, a high kick. And it's knocked over eventually. Wayne Campbell and Gavin Brown.
I thought you made a good point about the way that that ball was approached by Gale. It wasn't like a player or a boxer that knows he's got the opposition on the ropes and he's just going to give him that 1 or 2 extras and watch him go to the canvas.
And perhaps with the kick that came in earlier, where he got his both hands to and couldn't quite hold on to, and he missed that as well. So that's Murphy and Francis. Now Matthew Knights gets involved. Nothing much happening there, just boys trying to assert themselves on a football field. Monkhorst, who's dominated the ruck contest. The ball forced forward for Collingwood, but a mark taken by Turner. And he's another no-frills defender, Scott Turner.
Well, having a very good game.
7 kicks, but more importantly, making it difficult for the Collingwood forwards to get their hands on it.
Monkhorst underneath it. She's playing a game, the big monkey. 7 marks, 10 kicks, 6 handballs. He's been very good to centre half forward. Big fly was from Rocker. Off the ground, Maxfield. Buckley, Maxfield, free. Kerrison, Maxfield didn't fall over, it was important. Neil, Kerrison, and Richmond forced it about 50 or 60 metres from the first contest away from the Collingwood goal. Not a goal scored after 20 minutes of football in this third quarter, and that is going to help Richmond no end. There's still 4.5 goals in front. Wright breaks the tackle, kick under pressure. McGuan tries to break through, can't do it. Bauer's been good around the body to centre half forward. Murphy held up. Krasiska's had a very good third quarter. To Francis. Can Collingwood set something up? Francis, one bounce. Left foot towards Rocker. Turner and Rocker. Rocker used his body pretty well that time. It's still in play. Sanderson. Handball. Bit slow. Turner's having a very good game. Free kick to Rogers, surely not paid, doesn't matter. Naish gets very good distance to half forward. Gale and Christian, bouncing ball. Watson, Gale, can he knock it forward? Can he knock it on again? Neil, Daffy should kick a goal. He has. What a body blow that should be. 7-12 to 2-8. If they can't win from here, the Tigers. They've got Collingwood on the ropes.
And you have to go down to the half-forward line for the Collingwood to see where they lost that. It was a very poor piece of football by Sanderson. Just as poor attempt at the mark by Rocker. It went down to the Tigers. He brought it back in on the win and a goal at Daffy.
Well, John Northey looking still as though it's great concerns. Brendan Gale just got his foot to it, enough to carry to Tony Free. Free's kick towards full forward. Richmond mark, Neil.
Well, that was always going to be a problem for Collingwood because Neil's on a midget. He's got about 6 inches on Kerrison, and anything that was floating in high, you would have to think he had have an advantage.
Well, I think there was a game down at Geelong when he was playing with the Cats where he kicked about 3 goals in 1 quarter of football. Up at full forward. Played a lot of football in defence, so he knows how to kick goals, and that one goes straight through the centre. So all of a sudden, it was mentioned, Bruce mentioned, I'm sure just a few minutes ago, that we'd gone goalless in this third term. In the last 2 minutes maybe, Richmond have kicked 2 goals.
And good exit from the centre by Free, straight down the middle, and you saw the height advantage there from Neil. There's not much Matthews can do about it because many of his taller players, key position players, are sitting in the grandstand with the rest of us.
Well, Mark Neil was pretty happy with that, and it gives Richmond a very, very good break now. 60 plays 20. Monkhorst bashes it clear, only as far as Rogers. He's taken to the ground by James, and the umpire will call for a bounce. Just forward of the wing, between wing and centre half forward for the Magpies. They still haven't scored in this third quarter. So that fade out of Richmond's, Gerard, pretty well non-existent. The Tigers, Murphy over the top. Bauer could cap off a great quarter, but misses to the left-hand side. I reckon Bauer's probably had about 7 or 8 kicks in this third term. He's been very good.
Buckley to full forward for Collingwood. Callaway going all the way with him.
41-point margin. It's a mighty lead, isn't it? At 8-13 to 2-8. Krasiska, Richardson. Collingwood have got to kick 7 goals to nothing to win. Watson. They've kicked 2 goals and haven't kicked a goal since the 9-minute mark of the second quarter. Shaw gave it to McGuan. James is outnumbered. Maxfield runs it out of play. Collingwood saying, well, we've had a couple of deliberates against us today. What about that one? Here's Maxfield. In the pocket. Free kick. Oh no, against Turner to Rocker. Hanging on, the umpire says. Turner says, was it me hanging on or was he holding my arm? Well, Collingwood needed a break, didn't they? They had to get something from somewhere. Rocker's got to have to kick the goal. We've got 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Collingwood haven't scored in this turn. Rocker's kick. It's not a goal. It's a behind. 2 goals, 9 Collingwood. Richmond 8-13. And after kicking 20 goals in the first 4 matches this year, Rocker's managed 11, including today, in his last 7. It's not a very good strike rate from a full forward who kicked 73 last year. Edwards out wide. Loose man created for Richmond. Campbell, who's been pretty good all day. He's got a couple very short. Decides to go long from centre wing. Probing kick. Gale was there. Hassel's handball okay. Christian, you've got to say this Collingwood defence has been very good. Richmond kicked 2 goals in 2 minutes, but other than that, Collingwood have stood up brilliantly. Wright's kick out wide. The big monkey chasing hard. Edwards with him. It's near the boundary line. It's out of play. At left half forward, Collingwood attacking.
Well done.
A minute to go.
Well done by Stuart Edwards. So he's a lumbering type, but he just kept that Damien Mock course there, didn't he?
A couple of old steeple chasers running.
Oh, yes, but by gee, that's the sort of spirit that you like to see, I'm sure, because it indicates that every one of them are having a real red-hot go at it. Tony Shaw tries to get it out. Monkhorst gets around and then forced to kick with the left foot, but it's short. And the mark is taken by Callaway, who's been very disciplined on Nathan Buckley. He goes wide. Player on his own, Broderick, runs away, then kicks down towards half forward. Murphy being held onto, was he? Or Broderick dumped after he kicked the ball?
I think Gavin Brown gave the shove after he disposed of the ball.
Murphy's too far out to score, but he'll certainly get it to within distance. No mark. Naish off the ground. It's going to roll through for a goal. Naish, well done. Well, that surely, Bruce, would sound the death knell for the Magpies. The momentum with Richmond, 9-13. Collingwood 2-9. The Magpies only 1 point in this third quarter.
We'll have a look at this develop, but I just can't see where the Magpies are going to get their next goal from. There's no question that Mick McGuan is suffering out there. There's nothing on the interchange for the Pies. They've got plenty of players in the grandstands that are injured. Richmond may win this by 10 goals.
9-13 to 2-9. In the last minute before three-quarter time. Can Collingwood kick a goal in the term? Advantage given to them. McGuan a high one to full forward. Buckley's there. It's a bouncing ball. It should run out of play, and it does in the pocket. Well, Richmond have beaten Brisbane, St Kilda and Fitzroy this year. They haven't got a big scalpers yet. Oh, but they can smell one now, surely.
Well, I wonder what Mick Malthouse's theory about the final 8 being finalised happens now after this if Richmond do get up and win.
Rocker, high ball. Sanderson. Howard concedes a behind. 2 goals, 10 to 9-13.
That's another indication there. When Johnny Howard went on, there were 3 guys there for the Tigers.
Yep.
The ball bounced back over the other two's head, and Johnny Howard was there to take it back.
Turner goes long and wide. Wright punches it away. Tony Freese had a terrific third quarter. Gets his bounce in. And another one. Stretches Houlihan out. Centres it. Not a bad kick. Siren sounds. Tiger fans roar. Listen to them go. It's like the good old days. It's Richmond by 45 points at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. 9-13 to 2-10. Quarter about to start at the MCG. 9:13 to 2:10. Queen's birthday Monday. Big crowd. Richmond with what should be a match-winning break. Bond out of the centre. Collingwood hasn't kicked a goal since the 9-minute mark of the second quarter. They've managed just 2 for the match. Campbell's handball to Knights. Knights sells one to Brown. Goes to full forward with a very good kick. Floating back there. Krasiska. Handball to Richardson. Alan Richardson gets a handball to Kerrison. Tigers are chasing hard though, putting the pressure on. Buckley's been disappointing. Left foot around his body. I think that's his 4th or 5th kick for the match. Broderick with the bounce. He's 70 metres out. Tries a long one. Krasiska, bad bounce. Gale gets rid of a couple. Chance now. Rogers is going to kick a goal. That's it. Shut the gate. His 2nd goal. And the Tigers are going to win this one.
Well, it's just a question of how far they're going to win it by, because really the resistance from Collingwood has been pretty good considering the amount of players they've got out of this side, but they really have just got no guns whatsoever to shoot back at the Tigers. The Tigers are pumped, so's most of the crowd. They're giving them the big lift, and they could have an 8-goal quarter here, Richmond.
Well, it's a pretty big statement, Jared, but they've done very well so far, Richmond. And nearly a chance to take it away from the centre again. Tony Free. Opportunity underneath all that is Broderick. Nathan Buckley striving to clear the ball, but unsuccessful. So the umpire will have to bounce once again.
Well, a big
fantastic performance by the Tigers.
I would think the Tigers have got all the momentum. They've got to be as hungry as the Tiger has ever been.
Their performance last week against Essendon put the writing on the wall. They've got the ball up towards full forward again. Good mark, Neil. Christian name mark. And Deed was a great mark. They'd have to have a height advantage on Alan Richardson also, I would think.
Yes, well, the Tigers Collingwood have got very few options to go down there. There's not enough height on their side to cover all the tools for Richmond.
Neil goes for goal and puts it through. He's a good kick. He's kicked his 2nd goal at the early part of the last term. 11-13 to 2-10, and who would have been prepared to gamble on that?
Yes, and every Richmond fan here is enjoying every second of this, including Donny Fitzsimmons down in the bus who's bringing you these pictures. Have a look at the way that pitch is wobbling. He's excited.
(11-13 to 2:10). Stephen Ryan's gone to full back for Collingwood. What a massacre. Shaw to centre half forward. Watson will get a free kick. 57 points the margin. Watson's kick over towards half forward. Bond chips in to take the mark.
Good game from Bond today. Carried on with his good form this season.
Short. Knights had a very big first quarter. Well, Collingwood hasn't kicked a goal since the 9-minute mark of the second term. We'll work out in a minute how many Richmond has kicked since then. Turner running down from full back. Done a great job on Rocker. Oh, they could raffle that one. Broderick or Rogers. Rogers takes it. He was terrific in the 3rd quarter.
Collingwood have got to put their hand up. They're going to be absolutely embarrassed if they're not already.
Well, Richmond have kicked 8 goals since Collingwood kicked their last. Murphy! Big fly. Play on call. Kellaway ridden into the ground. How's that? Richmond 8 goals without a goal from Collingwood since the 9-minute mark of the second term.
I mean, we knock up Bruce saying about how teams have just got to show a bit of character and not get buried into the dirt. And Collingwood, a great football club, they've got to show a hell of a lot of their character now in the next 20 minutes. Hassel comes away from full back, gets the handball. Sanford in turn goes to Buckley. Buckley a long way from goal. A few ironical cheers there I detected. And a mark taken by Monkhorst close to the goal square. Well, Damien Monkhorst can hold his head high. 12 kicks, 6 handballs, 8 marks, 21 hit-outs.
The big fellows played this role up the forward line on many occasions.
He goes for goal and puts it through for a Collingwood goal. Well, a long time between drinks. Bruce has just mentioned that it was early in the second term that they kicked their second goal, and it's early in the last quarter that they get their third.
Up go the big hands. And takes the grab. Damien Mumkhurst is probably Collingwood's best player today. A lone hand in the ruck and around the ground.
(11-13 to 3-10). Collingwood's first goal in nearly an hour of footy. Shaw to Hassel. Wide. Watson and Tate. Tate was outstanding in the opening term. And the ball out of play at right half forward. Collingwood needing a miracle, but Robbo's point was a good one a couple of minutes ago. They've got to salvage something from what's been a very big wreck today. The only way they can do that is by keeping going and trying to get as many goals as they can in the next 20 minutes. Rocker takes it out of the air, can't get away with it. Broderick's been very good in close quarters all day. Brown's there, Knights and Bond. Young Bond's only had 4 kicks and 7 handballs, but he's played a good game.
I tell you what, he could nearly figure in the votes because he's negating work that's been quite fantastic.
A couple of long runs around the boundary line too, where he's carried the ball a long way. Gale and Rocker charge at one another, and Rocker will get a free kick out of that.
I can't believe he's plucked that out. Ruckman, every ruckman in the league is doing that now, jumping up with the foot first.
Well, Rocker's kick is good to the front of the square, and a terrific mark. He had the leap, James, and he's marked in the square. The big leap, and he should kick the goal. Oh, gee me, I think he's missed. Oh, that is absolutely inexcusable. Lee Matthews, he, along with everyone else here at the ground, can't believe it. He's missed from the point of the square. Brett James. Turner it is with the football. 11-13 Richmond, 3-11 Collingwood. The kick in, Buckley, James back to Tony Shaw. Tony Shaw a little kick, Monkhorst couldn't take the mark. Away goes Bond, close to the boundary line. Bond, well, he's gone along the line, and Broderick eventually has taken it over. So the Collingwood fans who are about to scream for deliberately taking it over have got really no argument.
Well, Nathan Buckley really has to dig deep over the next couple of weeks. His season is well and truly falling away, and his effort to take that mark not so long ago was fairly average.
Shaw, good tackle on him. Richmond push it forward by 20 metres. He missed a couple, didn't he, Buckley, against North Melbourne in similar circumstances in the third quarter when the heat was really on. Gale down to Brown. Well, there's a free kick to Gale in the ruck against Rocker for charging.
Well, I did notice that Gale went over and just quietly explained to John Russo the interpretation of that one, so now he's got one himself.
Christian and Rogers were having a bit of a wrestle. Murphy overran it. Kerrison caught by Daffy, and out of Platt right half forward.
That guy there's played a pretty good game. Gavin Krasiska, he's been very disciplined on Murphy. I know it's only Murphy's second game, but Krasiska's been a rock of Gibraltar back there for the Maggies.
11-13 Richmond, 3 goals, 11 Collingwood. Gale taps it down. Broderick held on to by Sanderson.
Didn't
and
have
the
the
ball
ball.
out of play. Should have got a free. 13 kicks, 10 handballs, Broderick. I think Gerard mentioned he'd be in front of the best and fairest to Richmond this year, and he's done nothing wrong today. Sanderson, Tony Shaw, under pressure, high ball. Knight set himself. McGuan, Bond, well played. Missed by Sanderson, tap forward by Gale. Tony free to centre half forward. Naish being held there with Wright. Neal, handball back to Murphy. Murphy's handball to Naish. Naish sweeps it to Campbell, who'll kick a goal surely. Steady, it's through. Misses behind. Should have drilled it. Now where's Knights? He's just picked himself up, Knights.
Just a lesson for young players there, the way that Campbell approached that goal. In blustery conditions, you really have to penetrate the wind, and he just tried to lollipop that one, as you see Matthew Knight's getting hit by a truck.
Yes, Krasiska wide. Good mark taken there by Broderick. Yeah, Campbell just
tried to make the distance and just lolly it over.
Broderick started off slowly for the Tigers this year, but by gee, he's become an important cog, hasn't he?
He's had a very good year, Robbo. Here's Tony Free.
Yes, I think his performance along with Michael Gale has really shown that Richmond have been the big winners in that exchange with Jeff Hogg.
Free kick against Murphy to Krasiska. It's Krasiska from the back pocket.
Well, you'd have to say that Justin Murphy has lowered his colours. We'll have another look here. And just a little nudge.
He's been given an absolute lesson by Krasiska today, but it's the sort of thing that happens to you when you're a two-game player.
And Collingwood swinging a change. It looks like Sanderson coming off the ground for Alan Richardson. Mick McGuan picks himself up from the MCG turf, and the umpire will bounce between wing and left half forward.
Yes, good decision from Russo. Rocker just came in and tunnelled big Brendan Gale, as you see in basketball. In fact, in basketball, it's a reportable offence.
Well, good work there by Nathan Bauer, receiving the hand pass. He was flat-footed, but able to get the ball now towards Naish. Naish's kick has been safely marked by Kerrison just outside the square.
For those that don't know what tunnelling is, it's when the bigger player leaves the ground, you just come underneath him and flip his legs out from underneath him.
Monkhorst. Now Shaw. Again under pressure, Tony Shaw. Not getting much distance. Christian falling over and running the ball out of play. Tony Shaw's had 29 touches, which is a bit surprising. Not a lot of penetration, which is not so surprising. Monkhorst. And punches it out, but this is all helping Richmond.
What does that hand gesture mean, Gerard?
I just thought I was pointing at Christian. I think he's had a reasonable game also.
You wouldn't want to point at too many more, Gerard.
No, there hasn't been a lot of mates.
You've mentioned 4 good Collingwood players in about 2 minutes, and they're trailing by 8 goals. Here's Knights. Outside centre half forward. Neild and Ryan. Oh, too easy. He might resurrect his footy career today, Neild.
Well, if we went through all the Richmond good players, Bruce, we'd be here for the next 15 minutes because they haven't had too many losers. And even Neil, who has come onto the bench, I think it was midway through the second.
Tell you what, he's nearly got the perfect record. 3 marks. This will be his 3rd kick, could be his 3rd goal.
From 20 metres out, Neil. It's got it. 3 to Neil. He's the big goal scorer in the match today. 12-14 to 3-11.
Really, as we've said for the last 20 minutes, as Miranda comes onto the ground and Justin Murphy gets a chance to rest his heels on the bench, it really is a matter of how far now for the Tigers. Floodgates could really open, Robbo.
Well, the football still to be brought back to the centre. Mark Neal has kicked 3 goals. Richmond have kicked now 12-14, 86 leading Collingwood, 3-11. 29, and you'd have to suggest that those supporters leaving the ground would be Collingwood supporters. They haven't had much to barrack for. Their team trails by a really big margin. Richmond going to force it forward once again here. Callaway. Now it's taken by Kerrison. He's kicked towards half forward. Blocked off there by Tate. Tate kicks. And nearly a mark taken by Buckley. Run down by Free. Free, terrific stuff. Callaway over the top, back to Free. Well, that's arrogance by the Tigers. Free's kick towards full forward, nearly taken by Neal, punched away by Krasiska. Back near the centre of the ground, it goes past Edwards, kicked away by Monkhorst, out to a vacant wing area where it's picked away by Hassel. Hassel's handball goes over the top, Sanford, back to Hassel. Hassel's short pass is effective, the mark is taken by Watson. Watson can go short to McGuan. McGuan off the left foot. Not bad distance. It may float through for a goal. I think it has. Good kick, Mickey McGuan. Collingwood get a belated goal halfway through the last quarter. That's their fourth, but they still trail 12-14, the Tigers. The Magpies 4-11.
And every goal vital for Collingwood, because the last couple of spots in the finals this year will be decided by percentage alone, I would suggest. And if you go down to kicking only 2 or 3 goals, it's going to do untold damage to that figure that's going to be all important come September.
4-11 to 12-14. Collingwood with 4 single goal scorers today. Monkhorst wins the tap. Broderick pushes it forward. Little kick away by Edwards. Bauer goes for it. Not a very good bounce. Richardson with him. Richmond's tackling has been a feature of their game today. It's got better and better as the game's gone on when they've believed in themselves. And you've got a feeling halfway through the third quarter, the big turnaround came when Richmond realised they had Collingwood on the ropes and then went in for the kill. Brown, pretty quiet. It's been matched up reasonably effectively. Oh. A free kick surely to Bauer, not paid. Well, I guess when you're 8.5 goals in front, you let those go every now and then if you're a supporter, but gee, ridden into the ground, nothing coming. Edwards and Monkhorst. Monkhorst's strength. Well done, Tony Free. He's been terrific. Daffy, brilliantly played. Broderick, kick a goal. Misses. Had players inside, decided to go on. You'd earned that right, and Broderick's stats keep on growing today. They're 15 and 10, 12-15 to 4-11.
Krasiska to bring the ball back in. His kick is short. Judging it very well was Campbell. Hand pass not quite far enough for Naish. Gets back to Bauer. Bauer's kick across his left shoulder. He hooks the kick a little bit too far, and it goes through for another behind for the Richmond side. That's Nathan Bauer's third behind for the day. And he's had 11 kicks and 5 handballs. So not a bad performance by that player as Krasiska prepares to kick it back in once again.
Goes straight down the centre, gets terrific distance. Edwards, Sandford at the back, attacks it hard. Shaw out towards Monkhorst. Rogers with him. Free kick, Monkey. Monkhorst will get it. He and Krasiska, you'd say the best two for Collingwood. Sandford. Backward of centre, high ball to centre half forward. Watson outnumbered. Francis and Bond to go for it. Well played, Bond, as he has all day. Very well played. Campbell to Maxfield. Runs the boundary line. Brian Lees has come on. No, Rogers, I should say. Free kick to Sandford.
Yeah, I thought Rogers was just a little bit lazy on that occasion. He could see Maxfield bursting down the the members' wing and didn't make enough yards to get over and give him a reasonable target.
Krasiska the target there, was sandwiched in the end and the ball on the ground.
And still Richmond desperate with their endeavours to try and get at the football. That spirit has been evident right from the start of the game.
61,903 the crowd here today. Says a lot for AFL footy, doesn't it? Over 60,000 for a game that looked very one-sided before the start. It's turned out to be the opposite in the end.
No, well, I think it's a real credit to Richmond. They came out here. There was no doubt in their minds that it was going to be a real game of football. And they've taken it right up to Collingwood from the start of the game. They kicked 2-5 to 1-3 in the first quarter. And at half-time, 6-8 to 2-8. But they broke it open in the third term when they kicked 2 goals in the latter part of the third quarter, and Collingwood could only add 2 points. And they've gone right on with it in this last quarter. So far, they've kicked 3 goals 2, and Collingwood have added just 2 goals 1. Still, Collingwood striving to clear the ball from their half-back line. Tony Shaw was grabbed, didn't have the ball. Stephen Ryan comes away with the footy. McGuan really struggling. His kick goes in towards the full forward area. And Turner just prepared to allow the ball to wobble over the boundary line, and we'll have a throw in the right forward pocket for Collingwood, about 30 metres around from their goal.
Oh, I think John Northey must have heard you, Bruce, because here comes Brian Lees on for his first run just to pick up his cash, and Nick Daffy goes into the bench.
James took the ball out of the air from the boundary throw-in, couldn't break away. So the umpire calls for a bounce, still about 30 metres away from the Collingwood goal. Chance for McGuan. A high kick. Doesn't quite hook it as far as he would have liked, and it goes out on the full. So the free kick to be taken in that left back pocket for Richmond by Scott Turner. Richmond defence has been, well, nothing short of exemplary. 4-11 for Collingwood in nearly a full game of AFL football. Richmond go forward again. Campbell short kick. And the mark has been taken by Neil once again. Well, I doubt whether he could keep his perfect record intact here. He's going to have to kick the ball 50 metres to score. 4 marks, 3 kicks. This will be his 4th kick. Can he keep the perfect record? Oh, geez, not a bad kick. It's a beautiful kick. It's a goal. Well, how often would you see that? He spent 3/4 on the interchange bench. Nearly 3/4. He's come on and had 4 kicks and kicked 4 goals.
Well, he's only kicked 1 goal for the season to date. So you'd have to say he'd be enjoying this.
I think by the look of that, after he kicked the goal, he certainly indicated that.
Perfect score for Mark Neal. 4 kicks, 4 goals. 13-16 to 4-11. Tony Free out of the centre. Yet another kick. Oh, well played by Rogers. Kick to the pocket, not so good. Krasiska charging away. Long handball to Ryan, who's been quiet against his former club. Hassel to centre wing. Sanford caught underneath the well played Johnny Howard, who's had a good match. Played the percentage as well today, Howard. 93 to 35 the scoreline. Collingwood 4 goals 11 only. Edwards, Tony Free. Hassel to centre half forward. Bouncing ball. James Buckley on his left, brings it back. It's a goal. No point. I've been wrong with those about 4 times today. And behind to Buckley, who's had a miserable day. And really came to Collingwood with an enormous boom. He was favourite for the Brownlow medal before a ball had been kicked this year. And you'd have to say that he's going through a patch which is going to be one he'd want to get out of in a hurry. He's really struggling over the last couple of weeks. There's Gale.
He's had a few mates today, though, hasn't he? I mean, they just haven't had any cohesion whatsoever, Collingwood.
Maxfield, but he's one of the players that I'm sure Collingwood need to get a spark, and they haven't got it out of him today.
Well, if they were to win today, they'd have all their good players firing. He's regarded as one of those, and he really hasn't produced.
Well, Lees it is that's endeavouring to clear the football. Matthew Knight's dumped there by Stephen Ryan. The ball goes over in that. There's Graham Allen and Alan McAllister in their favoured viewing area down on the boundary line. They haven't had much to smile about. Matthew Knight's it is that takes the ball away, and he's got plenty of time nearly to get round onto his left foot, but he kicks with the right into the full forward area, running after it Rogers. Gavin Krasiska happy to see the ball over for a boundary throw, and it's in left forward pocket for the Tigers. So with 4 minutes left, they're a chance to add to their score. 13-15 to 4-12.
We think it's 13-16, Rob, but the scoreboard wrong at the moment. It is 13-16.
Well, I don't think the Tigers will be too concerned about that extra point. Here goes Naish. Naish's shot for goal goes across the face, and off the player's hands it goes over for a boundary throw-in. It's Nathan Bauer in the picture. His game hasn't been too bad. Mind you, he's had a few mates in that Richmond lineup. Very even team performance, and when you get that, well, you get a scoreboard that looks just like that. 13-15, maybe 13-16, Collingwood 4-12.
Ryan and Lees. Lees tries to get it away. Ryan, Shaw tackled. Lees pushes it forward. Watson, and the ball runs out of play. Inside the last 4 minutes, what's been a remarkable game at the MCG. Almost 62,000 people came in today. Lee Matthews, well, what soul searching at Victoria Park this week. They've got West Coast next week, top of the table. Tony Free to the goal square. In front of Neal. Bowers' handball goes back. Chance for Campbell. High one back to the goal square. Miranda sets himself. Wouldn't he love a goal in his opening match? Campbell tackled. Kneeled off the ground. Miranda. Still Miranda. And it's over the line from behind. Richmond 13-17. Collingwood 4-12. And the Tigers keep their finals hopes alive today. They're still in the hunt. Watson gets it short.
Just goes to prove another thing that the competition is pretty well squared away. You know, there's no such thing as a certainty.
After the reports in the paper today, in both papers, in Melbourne anyway, saying that the final eight was basically decided today and that the final eight had achieved nothing at all, that the competition had been sapped out already at halfway. Well, how wrong after what's happened here today?
Oh yes, I think there's a game out at Waverley that's pretty well in the balance as well, and Brisbane's performance in Perth yesterday, the Swans haven't been going all that bad, and St Kilda nearly knocked off Geelong, so that's what the AFL have been looking for. I think it's terrific stuff.
Francis with a high ball. And also, when you consider that the AFL have had 112,002 matches here at the MCG on the weekend. It's a great draw of this MCG. It's like a magnet for people, isn't it?
Well, it's the Mecca, really. What do we have, 85,000 people here to watch a rugby game? 14-0.
I don't know you to watch the firecrackers.
Well, Richmond's still struggling to just keep Collingwood at bay. That defence, which has restricted the Magpies to just 4 goals 12, with 2.5 minutes left, they're lousy, the Tiger defenders. Brendan Gale at the football with Rocker. Rocker gets the hit back towards the full forward area. Brown tackled by Knights. Ball spills for Sanford. His kick should be marked and is by Brendan Gale. Tigers could go all the way down the ground here. Tate goes wide to the wing. Excellent mark taken by Lees. He's enjoying it. He's able to get onto the ground and savour a little bit of this glory. He runs in towards the centre. The kick not too bad either. The mark taken by Rogers. What's Rogers got at his disposal? The kick towards full forward. Knocked away by Neal. Back goes Richardson. Leaves it behind. The kick forward was by Miranda. Kerrison tackled by Bauer. Away goes Neal. Neal, the shot for goal. Goes across the face.
Oh.
Rogers! Oh! Bauer stopped it. Miranda's kicked the goal. You wouldn't believe it. If you had another look at that, you couldn't possibly believe it. 14-17 to 4-12.
Well, I think the player stopped on 3 separate occasions. He definitely took that out of bounds on the boundary line. They stopped over on this side. Have a look there. There's Bauer thinking it's all over. This goes out of bounds here without, well, didn't look all that flash. Well done, Miranda. Gets a goal.
Remarkable goal in the end for Mark Miranda. He won't forget that, will he, in a hurry. 14-17 to 4-12. Tony Free out of the centre. Tiger fans, the only ones left in the stadium. They're celebrating here. Broderick gets it from Rogers. Oh, well played to Free. It should sit. He should kick a goal, the captain. Rounding. Oh, he misses a lot.
A little bit blasé then, Tony Free. He's had a fantastic game and could well and truly figure in the votes with 23 kicks and 2 handballs. Of course, Tony Shaw's had a lot of possessions, his direct opponent.
Krasiska. That really would have capped it off for Tony Free. Would have ridden into the ground that time. But Christian from the back. Watson's handball good. Brown to Buckley. Buckley to Shaw. Shaw from half back. Another possession. Howard Sanford puts up his big mitt. Sanford. Bond runs across as he's done very well all day, hasn't he? You don't get a stat for that.
No, the West Coast played Melbourne, I think it was a couple of weeks ago here, and they just keep doing that all the time. Just get in the road, knock it away from the player, and make a real good contest of it.
14-16 to 4-12 in the last minute. Well, the Mother's Day massacre was a couple of years ago, Richmond and Collingwood. We've got another one at the Queen's birthday, something or other. Make it up, Jared, in the last half.
Well, she's another mother, isn't she?
14-17 to 4-12. Moncourse, Broderick, Knights. Wouldn't they love just one more, the Tigers? Free. Goes for goal with a long one. Miranda being held onto. Bouncing ball. Left foot smothered. Still there to be won. Left foot by Rogers. Save behind. That could be it. It will be it. That'll be the last score today. 14-18 to 4-12. 11-goal win to Richmond. 66 points they've won by today. That's the ball game. Well, you've got to say, one of the most satisfying performances for John Northey at the club.